Welcome back to another 20 valve build video, and before I go on, I just want to thank everyone who ordered stickers. It really means a lot to me. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and supporting me. Here's everyone's names who has ordered a sticker. I appreciate every single one of you. As I am recording this, it is the beginning of December, and I'm supposed to be getting them on the 4th, and as soon as I get my hands on them, they will be shipped out immediately, so expect them by the end of the first week of December. Again, thank you so much to all of you. It really does mean the world, and I'll have a link in the description of this video. If you would like to support me, I would greatly appreciate it, so check out the stickers I have in the link below. Definitely, thank you so much for that. Anyways, in this video, we're going to be getting our hands on the 20 valve for the first time, getting a look at it, and disassembling all the stuff I don't need for the engine, shipping out the wiring harness, and test fitting it inside the car and seeing how everything fits and what I'm going to need.
Well, here it is. I finally got a blacktop 20 valve for the car. I'm really excited. This is a dream engine for this car and my favorite one that I've ever driven inside of an 86 chassis. And the reason why I went with another 4AGE is because they just fit so much better inside of the 86 engine bay, as opposed to a Beams engine, which sits not only much higher, it sits a lot farther back, and you can't really access the transmission bolts, you can't access the heater core pipes, and the exhaust manifold does not fit without spending a lot of money on a custom manifold. So that's the reason why I went with this. This is actually from an AE111 with a 6-speed, which is pretty rare for these. But anyway, so this engine looks very, very clean. It's already had a timing belt done, so it's kind of a little bit higher mileage, I would imagine. This says it's done just under 100,000 kilometers, so I would imagine it has maybe, hopefully less than 100,000 miles on it. It's a Mitsubishi belt. I already took this cover off, so it's all quality OEM replacement parts, and everything is super clean. There's not a speck of oil or grease on anything. I'll show you that a bit later when I get it in the air and off of this tire, because I just have it sitting on rubber so it doesn't sit on the oil pan. It's really clean. I'm trying to fault it. This doesn't really matter. It's just a bent heat shield a little bit from when they were lifting it, I would imagine, but I already looked inside the engine. It's pretty normal as far as carbon buildup goes, and oil residue more like. Of course, individual throttle bodies, and I'll pop this cover off and show you that in a second. But of course this has to go because this points towards the firewall instead of a rear wheel drive configuration. And original uncut harness, so that's, I mean, it's cut where it doesn't matter, it just goes into the actual chassis wiring, but as far as the engine electronics go, it's all good. So yeah, so I'm really excited. I think that's everything that's worth mentioning on this. So I'm gonna remove not only the transmission but this cover as well, and let's see, I gotta remove this power steering pump and the AC condenser, which I might keep. I might try to retrofit some AC onto the car sooner or later, and then this pulley as well, because that's just part of the belt tensioner for this belt drive right here. I'm only going to be running a water pump and the alternator on this belt drive over here. So yeah, really excited. So this engine looks like it's been taken care of extensively. Even like these lower covers are painted. The oil pan has been repainted as well, looks brand new. So yeah, someone took care of this. Anyway, I'm gonna tear it down right now. That was a 5-minute clip of just talking about an engine. Holy shit.
Oh yes, there will be blood.
The 20 valve sitting to my left and the 16 valve that is done to my right here. So I'm going to be removing the wiring harness while it's on the engine stand because it's a little bit easier to get everything and you can move it however you want. I'm going to be putting the 20 valve onto the stand when I'm done with this and removing the harness from that. So the reason I'm doing this, taking both the harnesses off, is to merge them together in order to work in this car. I'm still 50-50 on whether I want to run the standard computer or go with an aftermarket solution like a Link ECU. That way I can run coil packs and just have future proofing and tunability however I want. So it'll make it a little bit better, but it also adds about $1,500 to the expense, so it's a little bit much. The problem with the standard computer is that I'd have to relocate the distributor to the front of the engine on the cam cover, which doesn't look as clean, but it would save, like I said, $1,500. So I'm kind of 50-50 on what I want to do right now. It's just, I didn't plan on the engine going. No, nobody really does. So yeah, I have to think about that a little bit more. But so I'm going to take this harness off now, time lapse it, and then put the 20 valve on here and do the same thing. So let's do it.
Smoked out positive squad. Protect DJ Smokey at all costs.
A severe shortage of vaccine of every kind is reported in almost all countries. Everywhere, there are ugly confrontations. Martial law is the order of the day, but civil disorder has escalated, with widespread damage to private and public property and rising death tolls in a number of countries.
Posse.
Squad.
So right now I'm in the process of stripping down the whole engine. So I took off the distributor cap, I took off the front wheel drive water neck housing with the thermostat, and I just left the gasket in there. And I'm putting on the rear wheel drive motor mounts right now, and just got this one here with the bolts I had in the 16 valve block. I didn't put this nut on right here just because there's a ground strap that goes behind it when it's actually installed in the car. So I'm gonna wait on that until that happens. But yeah, so this side is pretty straightforward. However, the other side, you have to remove the front wheel drive alternator bracket and tensioner, which normally would be right here. And there is a dowel pin right here on this side that you need to remove. So I'm just gonna get some vice grips and pull that out. As you can see, there's no way for that to bolt on there because the dowel pin gets in the way. So it's either, for some reason, if you want to drill through this, you can, or just, get rid of that one. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. And after that, I have to decide if I'm gonna run that bracket, because it kind of sits over this engine mount, this little lip here. So I'm gonna have to grind it down a little bit, or I can just use the 16 valve one. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm gonna remove that dowel pin.
Damn, son. This must be a DJ Smokey exclusive.
Are you going to stay alive or are you going to die?
So at this point in the video, I didn't have any new parts yet, so I was unable to progress the build any further. So I just wanted to test fit the engine inside the car to check out how everything fits, what I'm gonna need, what to order, and all that stuff. Most of the things I needed were on the way, but of course you will forget some things when doing a swap you've never done before. So I just wanted to double check fitment, and inside the car, everything looked great. I was working on mounting the coil and igniter bracket, as well as figuring out how I'm gonna route the heater core lines and the thermostat housing and all that stuff, and just getting it in the car and give me a little bit extra motivation. So that was pretty much where I left off in this clip, and everything did fit really well. Obviously it's an A series engine and a car that came with a very similar engine to begin with, so I wasn't really expecting too much. A few things I did do was route a original AC bypass, what do you call it, hose inside the engine bay here, just to route some more cold air inside the engine bay and get the stacks that cold air that would definitely benefit power and not just heat soak the engine bay. Another thing I did was try to route some hoses for the breather catch can. I ended up finding out that this wasn't a good idea. I just routed them in the stock configuration, and it was just building unnecessary pressure and giving me runnability problems. So all those hoses besides the brake booster lines, which are in the front and rear of the ITBs, I deleted. So the 20 valve uses a front and rear collector line for the ITBs just to build up a little bit of vacuum, which is always a problem on a car with ITBs, being that it doesn't have a real manifold. But I just teed those two into one line and then routed that to the booster. So that's what those nylon braided lines are in the engine bay. In the next video, all the parts I need arrive and I get started on maintaining the 20 valve, getting it back out of the car and replacing seals and belts and any other thing I could find. And that's just preventative maintenance, putting a new pilot bearing in, getting all the water routing done. All that swap essential stuff is gonna get done in this video, and might even see it start in the next video, so that's pretty exciting also. Anyways, that's it for now. New episode next week. And if you're still watching, I'd greatly appreciate you check out that Big Cartel store, get some stickers, support me and the channel. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week.